Man, Iowa has been on my mind all week, which is, never a sentence I thought I'd say, really. I mean, when would I ever say that sentence? No offense to Iowa. I'm sure it's a fine place, but, I've been there. It is a fine place, but I never thought I'd say, Iowa's been on my mind all week. Why would I do that? I don't know if anyone says that. I don't even know if people who live in Iowa think that, like, yeah, we don't think about it all week. I mean, this is just what we do. It's not like we're thinking about it all week. We get it. This isn't Paris. This isn't necessarily utopia. The coast is a far way in either direction. We get that. We don't dwell on it. You know what I mean? But we've been thinking about it too. We've been thinking about it a lot. People are thinking about it a lot. And here's how I woke up this morning. Here's how we all woke up this morning or this afternoon or what's on our mind this evening, whatever your situation may be. Here's what I saw. I saw this new 90. This is from the Des Moines Register. 96.9% of the Iowa caucus results have been reported. Pete Buttigieg leads Bernie Sanders in state delegates equivalents by just 0.1%. This means that Bernie Sanders catching up to Pete Buttigieg as far as the delegate lead is concerned. Now, keep in mind, the overall vote, Bernie got the most. Bernie got the most votes, but when you get the delegate equivalent, Buttigieg is slightly ahead because they don't weigh things totally evenly. Because, if they did, we'd have an actual democracy. Why should we have an actual democracy? Why would we do that? It's awesome. Yeah. So these are what the numbers are looking like. And as more numbers are coming in, they're coming in from more Bernie-heavy districts. And it looks like Bernie was the clear winner. That's why Bernie won Iowa is trending on Twitter. So that's what's happening right now. As they're finally getting these results in, finally. They've been dragging their feet for a while. We had this app malfunction that Pete Buttigieg gave a bunch of money to. And by the way, a ton of people are not aware of any of this stuff because the media is not reporting this thoroughly. The corporate media is not telling these stories thoroughly. A lot of people don't know that Pete Buttigieg gave over $40,000 to this app, that the person who is a higher up an acronym, which Shadow Inc., the organization that developed this app, is under their umbrella, that person is married to a senior strategist for the Pete Buttigieg campaign. Pete Buttigieg pumped over $40,000 into this app randomly. No other candidate even came close to that. Joe Biden gave like $1,500 or something like that. But randomly, Pete Buttigieg gave over $40,000. They said it was for text messaging services. And all of a sudden, Buttigieg is really crushing it in Iowa. And this app malfunctions. Nothing suspicious here. Oh, and of course, there's a bunch of Clinton and Obama regulars going in and out that are intertwined in all this. And let's just look at it big picture. Why are we allowing a private company to orchestrate things when it comes to our democracy? Why are we doing that? Why don't we have public transparency in our elections? Why don't we have it hand counted in public? Why don't we do that? Well, because then it would actually be a fair and honest process. It'd be an open process. We don't want that. A lot of people aren't aware of any of this stuff because the corporate media, they're just trying to paint it like, oh, an app malfunction and now we don't know what's going on. And this is actually unfair to Pete Buttigieg. It's unreal. So that's what we woke up to this morning. The numbers are coming in. Looks like Bernie got this thing. Well, there's another way. There's another way the powers that be can try to fight this thing by just scrapping the whole thing. And that's what Tom Perez, DNC chair Tom Perez, is going after. Check this out. So here's something interesting. Let's read the tweet first, and then I'll explain something to y'all. Enough is enough. Tom Perez tweeted this about an hour ago as of the recording of this, or as of us being live, excuse me. Enough is enough. In light of the problems that have emerged in the implementation of the delegate selection plan in order to assure public confidence in the results, I'm calling on the Iowa Democratic Party to immediately begin a recanvass. So he's just saying, man, this got so messed up. We need a recanvass. Let's just recanvass and everyone hold tight. while we're going through that. I responded, "Sir, this is an office max, but you should resign." Now, why did I show you guys my tweet instead of just Tom Perez's tweet? Well, this is an interesting Twitter thing here. I wanted you guys to see the ratio. If this is hard for you to see, I'll point it out to you. There are 15.1 thousand comments and replies on this, and most of them aren't really flattering. Now, here's the reason why I showed you my tweet. Because if I went straight to his Twitter, you can't see the replies. You see that? It only shows you the retweets and the likes. It doesn't show you the replies. So that's why I wanted to show you. So here you go, though. As you know, there are 15,000 of them. I showed you that by going from my tweet and showing you that way versus his tweet. But look at some of these. There's Humanist Report. Shout out to Mikey Figueredo. Resign now. Amen. And the DNC, time for them to be chunked into the dumpster fires, as Jeffrey Hyde. Scotland, wow, anything to stop Bernie. Let's see. Resign, you right-wing hack, says Steve. What's up, Steve? Let's see. I'm calling for a recount. And then they show a stormtrooper. All right, cool. So there you go. Most of the responses, not super friendly. Not super in Tom Perez's camp. Interesting ratio there. So that's what Tom Perez is calling for now. Here's an article that kind of goes through that. Let's take a look at this now. DNC chair calls for Iowa to recanvass caucus vote, says enough is enough. Democratic National Committee Chair Tom Perez is calling on Iowa Democratic officials to immediately recanvass Monday's caucus vote after days of uncertainty and growing concerns about inconsistencies found in the data. Enough is enough, Perez said in a tweet. In light of the problems that have emerged in the implementation of the delegate selection plan, and in order to assure public confidence in the results, I'm calling on the Iowa Democratic Party to immediately begin a recanvass. A recanvass is essentially a double checking of the vote. Iowa officials would have to hand audit the caucus worksheets and reporting forms to ensure they were correctly calculated and reported. In a statement released later on Thursday, Iowa Democratic Party Chair Troy Price did not address the request from Perez and instead said the party would take on a recanvass if any of the presidential campaigns request it. Wow. We owe it to the thousands of Iowa Democratic volunteers and caucus goers to remain focused on collecting and reviewing incoming results. This is what Price is saying, noting that officials identified inconsistencies in the data and used our redundant paper records to promptly correct those errors. This is an ongoing process. And what they say here is, as of Thursday morning, former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg was clinging to the narrowest of leads in Iowa over Bernie Sanders. Now, that's the lead in the state delegate equivalent. It's not the lead in the popular vote because Bernie Sanders overall has the most support. And no one's disputing that. So what is a recanvass exactly, you ask? Well, shout out to my editor, Joe, for sharing this reference for us to revisit. Now, this article is actually from 2015, but it answers our question. So it's a nice little reference for us to jump to here. A recanvass isn't the same as a recount. A recanvass is essentially a review of the vote totals in each county. County clerks will review the absentee votes and check on the printouts. To make sure the numbers were correct when they transmitted to the State Board of Elections. So it's basically a review of the totals. It's not a straight up recount. It's not like they're starting from scratch. A recanvass is essentially just a review. They're going to go back over everything. They're kind of going to double check. But this is just drawing this out even longer. This is just delaying declaring Bernie the winner or totally finishing. They're at about 97% right now. It's tilting in Bernie's favor big time right now. So they know that. So now they're saying, okay, we got to just refocus here. We got to just double check. We got to just do it again. And while we're double checking, who knows, a certain count might go somewhere else. Because it's interesting that they want to double check things when they got caught red-handed trying to cheat already and had to realign. Keep in mind, yesterday, they randomly gave 7% to Deval Patrick. If you recall, they randomly gave 7% to Deval Patrick in Iowa. Deval Patrick doesn't even know that he is running for president. Deval Patrick wouldn't even vote for Deval Patrick. No one even knew that guy was running. Like it was like one of those things you'd occasionally see him on like a list where they would like list pretty much everyone. And he'd be there. And you're like, oh, that guy? Who is that? He's totally random. A lot of people that have been following the election daily don't even know who he is. I've only heard his name a couple times. That guy randomly out of nowhere got 7% in a district that was otherwise fairly Bernie heavy. When they recalculated that stuff, they were like, oh, wait, those votes were actually for Bernie. Easy mistake. I'm sure it's just a clerical error. Like, oh, were these guys voting for the person who's the clear front runner, or this random person that they've likely never even heard of? They were trying to make it out like Deval Patrick got more of the vote than Andrew Yang did. Really? Yang was at every debate. Yang has built a huge grassroots movement. He's got a decent following. Deval Patrick beat out Andrew Yang. Really? Really? Come on. And then when they were double checked on that, well, all of a sudden that changed. And this is why we need to watch in real time. And this is why we need to pay attention. And this is why it's, thank goodness, for people like Savage Joy, for people like Fiorella Isabel, for people like Tina Desiree. And I know there's a ton of other people, for people like Jordan Chariton. Thank goodness for the boots on the ground, literally the boots on the ground in Iowa, who were there with their cameras filming a corrupt coin toss where that guy was clearly trying to cheat for Pete Buttigieg. Thank goodness that people are checking these. Thank goodness the Bernie campaign sent people from their campaign to double check everything, because they are actively trying to cheat. And people say like, oh, well, we gotta, what are we gonna do? It's yellow vest time. It's yellow vest time either way. I hope that Bernie gets through this. And I hope that the movement is so big that they can't stop him, that they can't cheat him, because we're two on it. And he wins. And he goes on to beat Trump. I want that to happen. Whether it does or doesn't, it's still yellow vest time no matter what. Because obviously, if it doesn't and they cheat Bernie again and they throw someone up there who loses to Trump, well, we're in a whole heap of trouble. If he does win, and then we just go to sleep because we're like, hey, Bernie Sanders, he's a good dude. He's president now. Not a lot's going to happen. Because Bernie Sanders, if he is president, will be working against the corporate media. He will be working against the military-industrial complex. He will be working against Congress and the Senate. He will be working against all those things. He will only be as effective of a president as the movement that is behind him is. That's just how it will work. So it's yellow vest time no matter what. It's time for a real movement no matter what. And a real movement takes a lot of factors. It takes getting out in the streets. It takes protests. It takes content creation. It takes reporters on the ground. It takes documentation. It takes films. It takes television. It takes music. It takes movies. I already said that with film. It takes content. It takes dancing. It takes DJs. A movement needs all those things. This is what Emma Goldman taught us a long, long time ago. Emma Goldman taught us these things a long time ago. It takes comedians. It takes speakers. It takes cause-based initiatives. It takes local coalitions. It takes all those things. So there are plenty of lanes for everyone to pick from. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of us. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of us. So that's just another way they're trying to cheat Bernie. That's another way. We just gotta, people don't have any confidence. Tom Perez, people don't have any confidence in the DNC because of you. Because of you and your ilk. Because you cheated in 2016 and you're trying to do the same thing again. So that's just another way. Oh yeah, we need to recanvass. We need to totally double check everything. And hey, when we're double checking everything, maybe Patrick Deval did even better than we realize. Maybe Patrick Deval, maybe we're not giving him a fair shake. This is happening in real time. This is happening in real time, folks. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news
news on with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your